Hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to the United Stand. This is your Sunday night show. I'm joined by Beth, Kevin, Adam. How are we all doing?
All right, mate.
Good.
We did win. You know, everyone seems a bit like, we did win. Ajax have just lost the cup final. That's why we're gutted. He's not even took over as manager, and we're already damaging his career. But yeah, lots to talk about. We'll pick up on the whole Pogba thing from this morning and the general status at United yesterday. Obviously, lots of things going on at United yesterday, and Adam was there, so it'll be interesting to get his thoughts on the atmosphere. I want to talk about this NUNEZ story, a bit about Ten Hag as well. Obviously, we're playing Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea in the space of about 9 days now. So, can we get top four still? Also, want to talk about Pogba. I've said that. Bruno, a little bit about him, a bit about transfers, a bit about Rangnick, and just general chat, really. And I suppose we'll start off with Erik Ten Hag. Kev, he's just lost the cup final to Ajax, and with Ajax, and he is going to be our manager. And as usual, as you would expect with social media, Ten Hag shit now. Ten Hag out.
Yeah.
Have we made a mistake, Kev? Have we made a mistake?
Yeah. Clip it up. We've made a massive mistake. We need to have a look at this now, and don't want Ten Hag anywhere near Manchester United. If you can't win, a final of the Dutch Cup final, then he's not the man for Manchester United. I'm joking. Of course, I'm joking. Still the man for Manchester United for me. As discussed previously, he's a man that will get more out of this squad of players. He's also a manager that improves players, and I think we've missed that at Manchester United. So certainly does not change my mind. Ten Hag at Manchester United will certainly have more power. He'll be able to keep his better players, which he's never been able to do. Ajax, he's literally stripped to these players every season. And at Manchester United, it's all about the big rebuild, isn't it? It's going to be huge. This will be the biggest kind of rebuild at Manchester United. I think that probably in many Manchester United fans, especially in my lifetime, we have ever seen, because you never see many players departing. And we know for a fact there's probably maybe 5 or 6 that are nailed on to leave, and there could be more as well. So it's a rebuild, and we're all in it together, aren't we? We really need to, without sounding like an Arsenal fan, trust the process and certainly get behind this manager, because for me, 100%, he is the manager that I want at Manchester United. Never understood why anybody would want Pochettino over Ten Hag. It's baffling to me, mate.
No, I agree. And I think that, I heard from the Ajax, I think it's like their technical director, saying that they're doing everything they can to try and keep him at the club. They're desperate to keep him. And I'm not an Ajax fan. Oh, boo-hoo, you lost. The reality is they had 2 good goals off. They were offside, but they were those sort of offsides that you just like, oh, God, especially the one just before half time. The defense was dodgy for 2 minutes. They conceded 2 goals. They hit the post. It was just relentless. I mean, look, I've watched them. I've probably watched Ajax play about 4 times this season, and that probably was the 5th time, I think, because most of the games I've seen them in the Champions League. But I watched it today, knowing he's going to be our manager. I think the last game I watched was the Benfica game where they got knocked out, and I was just watching it, and I was like, oh my God, the way they play. When the goalkeeper's got the ball, and his centre backs are fullbacks, and his fullbacks are wingers, and his centre midfielders dropping in as a centre back, and then it's just wave after wave after wave, and I'm like, bloody hell. Look, I couldn't give a shit that Ajax have lost. They'll win the league anyway. I mean, it doesn't change your opinion on him being the manager. But I tell you what it does, Beth. I think, wow, I watched Man United against Norwich yesterday, and I'm like, oh, God, take Ronaldo out of that team, and we've just lost. It's another horror show on a Sunday night show. But I tell you what, I don't know whether you saw it, but if you didn't see it or anybody didn't see it, it's just a world of difference from how he coaches a team to Man United. What's your thoughts on that, Beth and Ten Hag? Because I think Kev's right. It has to be a complete reset. You can't try and merge bloody. It's like David Brent off The Office. I've merged bloody MC Hammer with some other shit. It's like we can't merge this United stuff with Ten Hag. He's got to be given free reign.
Well, that's the thing. And I did watch the first half, but then I had to go out and do something, so I couldn't watch the rest of the game. But like you said, sometimes it's not about losing. It's about how you lose. And even though we won against Norwich and they lost today against PSV, the way that they played was 10 times better than the way we played. So it's about implementing that style, getting the players in to do it. And like we said with Rangnick, he came in here with a plan probably for how this team he's going to play. He's not been able to do it because he's not got the power, and the players, for me, either aren't fit enough or aren't willing. So when Ten Hag comes in, it's this style that he's going to want to play, and these players right now are nowhere near up to it. They're just not. I mean, watching how he attacks games and watching the tactical way he sets up, it's like this Manchester United team and set of players are just so far off. So got to give him time to get the players in, got to give him time in pre-season to get the players up to standard. And with Ten Hag, it's different to Rangnick. He's got full control. You don't like it, you're not willing to do it, right, you're not in the team, we'll get someone else in who can. And that's the exciting thing. And Ajax have got a great setup there, and they bring players through very, very well, but he's going to get more money at Manchester United. He's going to be open to get a higher caliber of players. So hopefully he'll be allowed to bring in people that he knows are going to fit his system. And like we've said, we need to give him time, because I remember Pep coming in to City. He even said himself the first year he kind of misjudged the Premier League a little bit when he was trying to put his style onto it. Klopp as well, he had some bumps in the road he had to get over. So it's not going to come in and straight away is lighting the Premier League on fire. I mean, I hope it happens that way. But you've got to give him time to adapt. And just the way he sets his team up and the way that group of players play, it is exciting. It's not always about the loss, and the way he plays is exciting to watch. But when he's getting slandered on social media now, it's just welcome to Manchester United, isn't it? That's the way it goes from now on.
Yeah.
I think, I find it funny. I mean, a lot of people said that would happen if he lost, and I find it really funny because it's just like I'm not bothered. Like, I mean, it's not like, oh, let's not get Ten Hag now. He's lost the cup final. It's like, what's a cup final? Like, you know, I know we were in one last year, and good football as well. I mean, God. But look, I wanted to ask you that about Adam, because obviously you were at the game yesterday. You look at the way Ajax play, and you look at the way United play, especially that back four. I said it. You know, they're about as useful as a red light on Grand Theft Auto, which people seem to quite like. But it's true. I think that, you know, I don't think Maguire played very well yesterday, but Telles was very poor. Lindelof wasn't great. And I mean, one of the key things you can see from Ten Hag's system is that the defense has got to push on. It's got to be confident on the ball. It's got to be left on its own. I was watching Ajax today, and I was just thinking, Harry Maguire. So basically, as a centre-back for Man United, for Ajax, you say to your forward, you say to your full-back, go forward, you wave goodbye to the other centre-back, and you split. Maguire's going to be having a panic attack. He's like, don't leave me. Don't bloody leave me. He's like, oh my God, how is he going to work in this system? Because basically, Varane will be fine if we get fit. But the whole point of the centre back for Ten Hag is that you're left on your own, aren't you? What I mean, you were there yesterday. Bring a bit of that into it and how this evolves.
Well, that's it. I mean, we spoke. I think it was this week actually, in terms of what you would see as a good start, a good first season for Ten Hag, and it's exactly that. It's implementing that style of play for United fans to actually go to Old Trafford and actually know how we're going to start a game and how we're going to work the ball and what each player is going to do. That's the night and day, and that's the difference between both there. Because yesterday you had a team which didn't know what they were doing as individuals or what their individual job was. Maybe they don't like listening to Ralph. They don't really care because he's an interim manager, whatever you want to put it down to. But that's how it looks on the pitch. And for a championship side, which they are in Norwich, to dissect us the way that they did and to force Ralph into going safe, bringing Matic on, then it tells you everything about the lack of discipline within these players. And discipline goes to a different level under Ten Hag. Like you just said, the centre-backs have to do that role. Basically, the full-backs are attackers, which is a problem straight away. And I'm going, okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4... changes all over the park for these players to actually do this system. It's going to take one hell of a pre-season, and they're going to have to be switched on and be using brain cells that they didn't know they actually had. I just don't see it. I think the only way around it is replacing certain players. Yes, I have got no issue with Varane in this. The fullbacks, no, I don't think any are up for it. I don't think Luke Shaw's got the capability of doing it either, personally. But whether he can be coached, we will see. And then you're probably looking at that midfield. Yeah, forget it. It just dies right there, doesn't it? It just dies right there because no Matic. Matic probably looked at that and seen how Ten Hag plays and thought, yeah, time to go. I can't do that. I can't get up and down the pitch like that anymore. So, no, I'm out. Yeah. See you later. And then you're looking at the forward line. Oh, God. It's, I mean, you've seen what Ten Hag's done with players like Tadic, Blind, Haller, players like that, and rejuvenated careers. But you look at United's and you go, no, it's too much. So the difference is exactly that. Players knowing what they are doing and fully on board with what the manager wants them to do and actually listening and putting his messages and his words out on the pitch. You can see it. With United, you can't. Whether or not he'll be able to implement that and put that into these players, I am very doubtful. But then the other problem we had is, like, who is he going to have left to actually be coaching and putting on that pitch by the time the season starts? That's going to be the interesting thing. But the difference night and day, I don't think there's anyone would disagree in terms of actual organisation, playing style and method and direction. Ajax have got it, and that's simply because of Ten Hag. He said it all along. He's a tracksuit manager. He coaches and knows every single thing about every single player. He organises the diet to the training program, absolutely everything about every player. And we know what our players are like for anyone stepping on their territory in terms of what they've got and how cushy they've got it. So I think a rude awakening for a lot. And I think with him negotiating this contract and having power to do what he needs to do, it's going to be very, very interesting summer. And if he gets half of these players playing like Ajax playing that system, I'd be amazed. That's why I think wholesale changes are probably the only way. And maybe the youth, like we've said before, because they will listen, and I know he will be able to coach that into a younger player rather than these pre-Maradonas that have set in their ways and won't listen to anyone because they've got every God-given right to say what they want and do what they want in that United shirt, like a lot of them think. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, it is a blow for Ten Hag losing a cup final, but in perspective, he will be Man United's next manager. And I mean, look, jokes aside, Kev, I mean, we will be in this position next season doing these shows where we've lost games. We're not going to not stop losing games. As you said, it's he can't solve all these problems. Rashford will still be here, McTominay will still be here, Bruno will still be here, Maguire will still be here. And I mentioned those four players because, well, I don't think McTominay's good enough. I think Bruno is playing on fast play. He just doesn't slow his game down, and he's got to do that. Rashford's an uncertainty, and Maguire has had a bad season, and they'll all be here next year. And unless they all improve, which is unlikely that they'll all instantly improve, we will have some bad results. And it will be on Twitter, Ten Hag's not good enough. Do you, as a United fan, a bit older like myself, and, you know, we've seen the good times, we've seen the bad times, but we've also seen in the modern times that opinions can change like that, and people are like, no, get rid of him. In a bigger question, not just because he's lost the cup final today, do you think this fan base has the patience anymore to stick with a manager for 1-2 years, or do you think actually we'll have a couple of bad results, he won't pick some of the fan base's favourites, and it'll be like, nah, he's crap, he's managed in a Dutch league, I never wanted him anyway, even though they're desperately on their Twitter feed deleting the tweets from this month, or do you think there will be general patience there?
It's the modern day thing, isn't it, Mark? I mean, we grew up without social media and all that. So you never knew what people's grumblings about Manchester United were, probably until you went into a pub or you go to a match and you speak to people. Now it's very easily accessible. And for me, there's, of course, the majority of people on social media, I think, are absolute idiots, Man United fans. And you've knocked the nail on the head there. You know for a fact, if Manchester United... when Ten Hag is finally appointed, if United lose the first, second game or whatever, there'll be people there with that hashtag Ten Hag out. I ain't got time for that. We have been through what will this be now since Sir Alex Ferguson left United? This will be our fifth full-time manager. What is it? 4 interim managers since Sir Alex Ferguson left in 2013. And like I say, I didn't have this when I was younger. So you had your opinion. If you want to go to a pub or whatever and spout it about, now it's very easy to just get your phone out and go, Ten Hag's finished, he's this, that. He's not a miracle worker. I want him at Manchester United because I can see what he's doing at Ajax. But at the same time, I know for a fact that, you can't polish a turd. You look at Harry Maguire, for a fact, his worst attribute is the fact that he is not quick. Ten Hag is not going to be able to make Harry Maguire, 50% more faster. And he will have to live by that. Harry Maguire's at Manchester United, is a captain, whatever. I do not agree with that. But I do not see how you make Harry Maguire a better footballer. We're playing in the Premier League. It's a very, very fast and competitive league. Maybe in a different league, the Championship or whatever, might get away with it. Manchester United, you're not going to get away with it. You're coming up against attacking footballers who, and we witnessed it since Harry Maguire's been at Manchester United. He gets absolutely torn apart. So in that sense, Erik ten Hag has got a lot. He's got a big task on his hands. He's not going to take this job not knowing what is to be done. But there's certain players, like you say, the likes of maybe McTominay, Fred, and that, the midfield needs ripping up. But there's some players he might be able to make better. But for the likes of Harry Maguire, the main attribute for me, being a central defender these days, is certainly you have to be switched on, and you certainly need a bit of pace about you. And Harry Maguire's not going to be coached that, is he? He's not going to bring him in, even if he coaches him 3 or 4 times a day. I can't see Harry Maguire ever having that pace about him, to be honest.
I think it's a great point about Maguire, because I think when you look at Ajax, if anyone's watched them, he does split his centre-backs. He does tell his full-backs to bomb on. And we've seen this season, and last season we were successful because we kept clean sheets and we nicked a goal. Why did we do that? Because we put Harry Maguire next to Lindelof, holding hands. We took Shaw and Wan-Bissaka in, and we put McTominay and Fred in front of them. And it's a bit like a back five as well. You put Maguire in a back five or surround him with other players, he's quite good because he's got a lot of support. He plays with more confidence. It's a deep line. I just don't see. I don't know. I mean, Erik ten Hag's going to have to come into the club and have a chat with them, because I think United are blind at times. I don't see. He's just not a modern day centre back, and you've just gone and got a modern day coach who wants to play a high line and leave his centre backs on his own. So it's going to, and he's 29 as well. He ain't going to get any quicker. So yeah, I think it's a great point. We'll have to see what happens with him. The striking situation, Beth, because yesterday Cristiano again with the hat trick, second time in about a month, isn't it? He's got us 6 points, 6 goals. And, I agreed with Conte after the Spurs game, take Ronaldo off that pitch and we don't win. They don't win. I think Dean Smith said something about it as well yesterday. But it's so funny, isn't it? Because we've had all season that Ronaldo's the problem. We've had ex-players hinting at it. We've had the media hinting at it. And the irony is that somehow we're back in a top 4 race again, which we'll talk about in a bit. But it's only really, look, a goalkeeper saves goals. He can't score goals. Ronaldo has scored goals. And, you look at 1 or 2 of the goals he scored against Spurs and Norwich, they're completely individualistic, especially the winner yesterday from the free kick and the one from out the box against Spurs. There's some quite positive news coming through about Darwin Nunez, is the Benfica striker. Apparently he wants to play in the Premier League, and he is Man United's priority striker. But with Ronaldo, first of all, before we talk about Nunez, where are we with Ronaldo at the moment? Because we're seeing things about he's been a problem all season, and we need to move him on and stuff like that. But what do you see the future is with Ronaldo at Manchester United? Do you think he will go?
Well, I was actually talking about this today with someone, and I've been thinking about Ronaldo for quite a while. Personally, I've always said I want him to stay, and I think he will stay. And that thing about him being a problem all season, he's not a problem. Is it 6 games that he's not started and 6 games that we've lost? He has a similar effect to Varane. When Varane's on the pitch, you're probably not going to concede 3 or 4. You still might concede because our defence is horrible, but it's not going to be bad. When Ronaldo's there, there's always chance for you to score a goal. Where he's not on that pitch, I look at the attack and I think, I don't know if I can see where the goal's coming from, especially since Bruno's been on bad form. So Ronaldo, like you said, makes goals out of nothing. I feel like even with the header yesterday, he wasn't really getting enough credit to what it deserved. It was an amazing header, great leap. And no one else in that team scoring a header like that. And that's just facts. And you look at him and you think, next year, under Ten Hag, he can definitely do a job. If he's on for, if he's, I think he's 3rd for the Golden Boot this season. Yeah, United have been horrible, and I can't even remember the amount of chances we've created, but it's barely any. So he's definitely up to doing the job of a striker, especially if you play to his strengths, play him as a little bit of a poacher. And I believe that Ten Hag can play his system with Ronaldo in the team. I generally do believe that. So if I'm Ten Hag, it's up to him. You come in and you look at all the things you need to solve. Priority for me actually wouldn't be getting a striker in, to be honest with you. I think Ronaldo can do the job for another year. I think there's other areas on the pitch that drastically need improving that we might need to focus on first. You look at the fullbacks, which with the fullbacks, I've been on and off with them for a little while, especially Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw, for me, I think he can do a job. I think he's definitely got the attributes there, and I think if Ten Hag can coach him right and he actually works hard and puts effort in, I think he can be a left back under Ten Hag. Right back situation, I'm not too sure about. I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka 100% is going to end up leaving Manchester United. He's not the type of fullback that Erin Ten Hag's going to use. Dalot, got to have to coach him, because for me, his end product.
Who's going to take him though, Beth? Sorry to interrupt. Who's going to take Wan-Bissaka this summer?
No one's going to take him, but he's not going to play. He's not going to play.
No, I agree with that. But I think I mean, the only reason I jump in is I think you're right about Shaw. I think he's I said this the other day. There's this summer problems and there's next summer problems, and I think Luke Shaw or Wan-Bissaka or Harry Maguire or McTominay, they ain't going this year. There's too many players walking out the door that we can't stop, isn't there? There's 6 or 7 that are just going to go.
Exactly, and I agree with you. The fact Wan-Bissaka he's not going to leave, because we're not going to sell him and no one's going to take him. But I just see him sitting on the bench all next season as a backup right back. I generally do. And if we bring in a right back, which isn't implausible, I think he could come in and think it's not a strong enough position that we've got, and we could buy another right back. That means Dalot could be in even before him. It depends if Ronaldo stays. I think if Ronaldo stays, you could buy a striker, or like Adam was talking about on the show midweek, actually bring one of them through that we've got going at the moment alongside Ronaldo and bring someone up from our youth. Or you can buy a cheaper option that's going to grow into the striker role. I don't think if Ronaldo stays, you necessarily need to go and spend 80 million on Darwin Núñez. I think he's a great player, but that's a lot of your transfer budget on the striker. I think we need to be investing our money definitely into a centre-back, because like we've just spoke about Harry Maguire, I don't think he's going to be able to do it. I mean, he works in a back five, like you said. He works in a defensive system. It's not going to work in an attacking system where the centre halves are going to have to get up the pitch and be left on their own. Not going to work. And we desperately need a CDM that's going to be able to play the system as well. And for me, that's where I'd be putting my money into. But if Ronaldo leaves, we've got to get a striker. So I think it all depends on what he does. But then I think about it and I'm like, where is he actually going to go apart from possibly PSG? PSG, the only ones that can afford his wages realistically. No one else in the Premier League wants him. Where's he going to go? So it's just going to be interesting to see what happens with him. If he leaves, got to go and spend money on a striker. If he stays, I'd be looking at diverting the money elsewhere, to be honest with you.
The funny thing is, I think with Ronaldo, you're right. There's only probably PSG can take him, but he's not doing himself any harm when he's single-handedly scoring hat-tricks to win us games. And somebody might just go, ooh, you know what? He's doing that in a crap United side. Imagine what he can do in a crap French league. And
that's the thing, Mark. What we have to do yesterday as a performance from Ronaldo, you've got knobheads, or I would call them, the likes of Graham Souness, Paul Merson, wrote Cristiano Ronaldo off before he even practically when he signed for Manchester United. And then there is this other debate about Messi, Ronaldo, who's the greatest, right? Messi's playing with Mbappe and Neymar in the front three. And then you look at what Ronaldo's playing with now at Manchester United. I'm not saying that Fred, McTominay and that are in a front three, but they're occupying the same team as him. Yet Ronaldo is still doing this at the age of 37. I think it's absolutely staggering. I think it actually puts to bed the debate of who is the greatest. Ronaldo to be doing it at Manchester United this moment in time, written off by so many people. Why is he coming back to Manchester United? Why is he wasting his time? Yesterday, again, what's that? His second hat-trick this season. It's unbelievable. What is it? 60 hat-tricks or 50, 60 hat-tricks now he's scored. It's unbelievable.
Didn't we go through something as well before Ronaldo where nobody scored a hat-trick for about 20 years? It wasn't 20 years, but I think it was like Van Persie
was the last.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And, you know, to score hat-trick, the point is to score hat-tricks in this team. It's not easy, is it?
I think if you stick Messi in that team this year, I don't think he has the same impact that Ronaldo has. Ronaldo wins your games because he's got so many aspects to his game. I think what he's done, I think he doesn't get enough credit for it. He doesn't.
Well, this is on just quickly on that there. It's like everything that everyone's talking about there is the reason why I think Ronaldo is a problem. It's the same problem that United have had for years. You know what I mean? Look at what Liverpool do. Look at what City do. There isn't one man that stands out. United are solely reliant on one player every season. Now it's Ronaldo. The goals he scores aren't team goals. the crosses, the worldies. He makes them himself. And his brilliance is simply the problem that we've got right now. We had it with Zlatan. We had it with Bruno when he was hitting it. It was just solely reliant on one person. Everyone takes a back seat. And there's no system in place at all. And yeah, we haven't had the right coaching and everything like that. But the fact that Ronaldo is so good is the problem that we've got with him right now. And it's amazing what he's doing. It really is. But no one's going to step up like Ronaldo. We can't be relying on someone to do this and pull us out of the crap every season. It's one man cannot do it. And we season on season, it's just been a one-man show. There's never been a group of players that are playing well at all. And you look at City, you look at Liverpool, it's every single one of them players are idolised by their fans. They all know what they're doing. And you talked about Ajax a minute ago. Them Ajax fans are chanting every single one of them players. They move as one. It's not Ronaldo pulling out a world there and saving you against a relegated Norwich. And the managers are right. What they said, what Dean Smith said, what Conte said, it says, take the greatest player of all time, like you all said, I agree, out of that team, and you've got a pile of shit, and they won't get anywhere. I think someone said, I can't remember who it was, without Ronaldo and probably De Gea in his form this season, we'd be fighting relegation. He's not a million miles away from it. That's how drastic the situation is at United. Why have these players all of a sudden just gone, oh, Ronaldo's there, he can do it for us? It's literally what we're looking at. It's literally how we play the game. It's like Ronaldo can do something. Ronaldo can, and everyone stop playing. It's ridiculous. I've not seen one player play to his potential this season, apart from Ronaldo and David De Gea. It's like, yeah, actually accept him and learn from him, or just be stood there in awe of him and just use him as the excuse. And that's what it is. And when he was in bad form early on in the season, which he was going through a bad patch, we were crap. And obviously crap. And the results that we've had recently, the only 2 wins we've had, I think in the last, 8 games was it, have been Ronaldo hat-tricks. Says everything you need to know. Crazy, this man's got 21 goals this season. What is it? Like you said, 3rd for Golden Boot in a season where we've gone out at the first chance of both domestic cup competitions, just about got through the Champions League, and he's still up there in leading goal scorers. The man's a phenom. He's just ridiculously good. And I've gone in on him this season a few times when he's been out of form, but it's like that, you just get carried away by him not being as good as what you expect him to be and forgetting about how crap the rest of that team is around him. It's like, what, who was it Kev said then, or Matt, I can't remember who said it. It's like, who's Messi playing with at PSG? For Ronaldo to be doing it, linking up with Fred and Rashford, do you know what I mean? I mean, come on. You got to give him credit. And like a free kick, a corner, when United ever score goals from that, we created nothing else past that, really. And one that Alanga took off the defender. Past that, what we were creating as a team, there's nothing. I mean, Norwich played better as a team than we did yesterday. And that tells you everything you need to know. But for Ronaldo, absolutely finished. It's scary.
Well, when it went from 2-0 to 2-2, they were all over us. I thought it was like inevitable they were going to get the 3rd goal. And to win that game, we won it because Ronaldo scored a fantastic free kick. But it's funny, actually, because I think it was Kev mentioning Souness. I read something about half an hour before we went live. And, I mean, he had 3 players he wanted to moan about. Guess what? None of them had a British passport. It was Bruno, Ronaldo and Varane. And his Varane one was the best of the lot. It was... Varane's basically it was, people keep going on about Harry Maguire being bad, but Varane's a prime example of a player living off the past. He was a good centre-back 5 years ago. And I'm like, okay, they just don't watch. But, you know, bring it back to our fan base, Kev. We have heard a lot this season about Ronaldo being a problem. We hear a lot about, there's even a lot of people who think De Gea is the problem. There's a clip of him yesterday where he refused to pass it Maguire and kicked it out. I'd kick it out rather than give it Maguire. I thought it was a great move. But he's been our player of the year, and Ronaldo scored these goals, and it's like, do you think that there is? I think it's probably one of the weirdest years, and we'll bring the Pogba thing into this as well, where Pogba gets booed yesterday, and we were talking about before we went live. But it's been a weird year because I've consistently seen, we've had a crap season, but I've consistently seen the better players in a crap season slated. Well, that's De Gea finished. Now we've got Ten Hag. Get him out. He wants a ball-playing goalkeeper. I'm like, we've got centre-backs who can't even play football. What are you talking about? A ball-playing? I mean, let's at least get some players in. I mean, I'm not saying that we don't need to replace De Gea. We probably will do in the next couple of years. We've definitely got to replace Ronaldo in the next couple of years. But we have got this sort of media and fan base thing going on where we're trying to get rid of our better players. And it's almost like, with Pogba yesterday getting booed. He's getting booed, and there's a couple of United players walking off going, I'm getting away with it again, and just walk off. It's a weird thing that we have going on, I think. I don't know what your thoughts are.
I think a lot of these players are hiding. We've said it before that a lot of these players have checked out and are looking towards the summer now. But there is genuinely a fight for fourth place on our hands. Now, as regards to booing, I'm not a massive fan of it. Anybody that takes their time out to thanks very much, stays behind after a game, to wait for Harry Maguire or Marcus Rashford and basically go, you're shit. And I'm like, seriously, you waste your time doing that. How is that helping Manchester United? And at the same time, yesterday, I just think that's as low as it's got. You've literally got 70,000 people at Old Trafford singing, you're not fit to wear the shirt at Manchester United. And I'm like, this is seriously where we are at as a club. And that is where we are at. We've got, I tweeted out the other week, I said, I've never been so disconnected from a group of Manchester United players in my lifetime. I said, barring David De Gea, I said, I'm not really bothered if any of them leaves. And as you've just said, Mark, some of the responses were basically, David De Gea, you think David De Gea's all right? Kev, you're part of the problem. And I'm thinking, what? I'm like, why am I part of the problem? Yeah. I'm like, David De Gea.
Get out of this club, Kev. Get out of Manchester. Yeah. Even though you were born there, get out of this club. Take David De Gea with you and never come back.
Exactly. And I'm like,
always been you, actually.
Yeah, it's all Kev's fault, isn't it? It's my fault, United is shit. But, David De Gea, I'm like, he's been, since Sir Alex Ferguson left, what was he, 3 times in a row, Manchester United's Player of the Year, which tells you everything you need to know about Manchester United. No Manchester United player ever, or goalkeeper, got Player of the Year. It was literally always an Eric Cantona, a Ronaldo, an attacking kind of flair player. So it tells you where we were at that time. And I think De Gea has been one of our best players easily this season. You look at it and go, where would we be without him? He's made some massive saves, really, really good saves.
I mean, look, it's almost with De Gea that the very clear saves he's made, like the one yesterday at 2-2, where he palms it out for the corner that was going in the bottom corner. And that wasn't even his best save. His best save was the one from Pukki. They don't matter. Even though it stopped a goal, that don't matter. It's the kick he's put out for a throw-in. That's the real problem. And it's like, well, even if he makes it accurately, it still lands at Fred's feet, and bounces out for a throw-in anyway. So,
and Mark, look at who he's playing in front of him. He's hardly got a solid defence where he's protected. You look at the top teams, the likes of Edison, Alisson, they're not making many saves a game, are they? 1 or 2 maybe saves a game when they're called on. De Gea's, we're like a relegation team. He's flat out making saves minutes at Manchester United. And yet you've got Harry Maguire and Lindelof in front of you. How many times have we seen this season? The one where the other week, Harry Maguire plays a ball back to De Gea after De Gea's clearly said, don't give it me back here. And he gives him the ball back. He puts it in at the stand. And then you've got De Gea kind of looking at Maguire going, what have you just given me the ball back for? I just said, do not give it me. So it doesn't fill you with much confidence as a goalkeeper, does it? Really?
It's like that with De Gea, with the De Gea debate. It's like, when he's a busy man, he's the best goalkeeper in the world. It's like, look at the defences when he's won his Player of the Season award. Look at the centre-backs in front of him. That's why he's won the Player of the Season award. I mean, how can a Manchester United goalkeeper be right up there with the most saves made this season? Tells you how shit your defence is when that's there, because he's there. He's at the top. I'm like, wow, we are leaking chances. But he's had Smalling and Jones, 4 years in a row? Around that era, he was getting Player of the Season every year. The one time we didn't get it, when he was sort of being questioned, was when they managed to get like a 3rd and 2nd in the league under Ole, which is crazy enough because he didn't have that much to do. So I questioned his actual concentration levels, and it's when he dropped off for me. But when he's busy, there's no one better in the world, I don't think, than David De Gea. I really don't. But the new system coming in under Ten Hag, and then someone said the other day, is distribution. And I think me, Kev and Beth both discussed, like, well, you got to look at the players that he's probably trying to pass to as well. And maybe there's an issue there as well, because I look at that back four and I'm a goalkeeper and going,
got no confidence.
Forget that. Or out.
Bypass distribution his distribute. I mean, this is just people who don't understand football. The reason his distribution's crap is because he gets the ball in shit situations on the wrong foot without time, and he's just got to hit it quick. You look at the way Ajax play or the way Man City play. All right, Edison's brilliant with his feet, but it's drilled, isn't it? When I get the ball, I know where my centre backs are going to be. I've got a little bit more time. It's not like David De Gea is going to get the ball to feet and not be able to play a 30-yard pass into a fullback who's not marked. But we go back to what we're talking about. Really, it's not an issue for now. We've got so many things to solve that we're not going to do in this summer. Beth, I need to ask you about it, because obviously I spoke about it this morning. We spoke about it before. The Pogba booing yesterday. Obviously, we're going to get Adam's thought because he was in the ground in a minute as well, and then we're going to talk about top four. But obviously, it was an interesting day for Manchester United yesterday. It was an emotional roller coaster. We had protests for 17 minutes, and typically United scored before they came in the ground. That fucking typical of United, that is, to score. There's a protest and they score. I mean, we're terrible normally. In the 17 minutes is probably about right. You can miss that and you'll still see good bits of the game. People came into the ground, 2-0 up, 2-2. Pogba got took off at 2-2, told to fuck off and booed a little bit. There was a bit of rumour about that. I didn't really believe it. We win the game 3-2. We've won the game. Everyone's positive. Pogba walks off and he's getting booed. And he was, because I've seen the video as everyone else has. It was a weird game yesterday. It's almost like win, lose, win, win. Did we win? Did we lose? And the atmosphere around the fan base is quite a confusing one at the moment. What was your thoughts in relation to that? Rangnick came out after the game and said no one player should be being booed, but fans have definitely had enough of Pogba, haven't they?
It's a very negative energy in that stadium at the moment, and it's always going to be until the players actually look like they want to play for the club. To be honest with you, it's like, even with Norwich yesterday, we won. And I was literally there at the one game I don't go to. Of course, we've won it, and Ronaldo scored a hat-trick. But it's like, we've won the game, but the performance was still very poor. And I thought most of the players, the majority, apart from Ronaldo and De Gea, was still had very, very poor performances. And I completely agree. Not one single player should be singled out and booed. It's like when Maguire got booed for England, he came back to Old Trafford and everyone was singing his name, Harry Maguire. But it's like, Pogba, for me, wasn't the worst player on the pitch, yet he's being told... I mean, he's getting booed, getting told to F off and everything like that. So I think it's not right. And I think it's very contradictory to what's happening. We said it before we went live. If the players are going to get booed, it should be every single one of the players that's getting booed, bar Ronaldo and De Gea at the moment. Every single one of them players hasn't been good enough, has been poor. I understand the frustration with Pogba. Second time he's ran his contract down and left the club on a free, which he is going to do. He's been inconsistent for the time he's been at the club. He's not been the Paul Pogba that we've all wanted him to be. His agent is an absolute arsehole, and he talks about leaving the club every single international break, and he came out at the last international break and said he's got nothing to play for, even though he's still playing for top four. I understand people's frustration with him, but he shouldn't be being told to F off and being booed out of everyone that's on the pitch. Every single one of them players has let the club down. And do you know what chant I did agree with? I agreed with the "you're not fit to wear the shirt" chant, because that went for everyone there, because a lot of them aren't, and that's going to be found out when the new manager comes in. But singling a player out and treating players differently, I don't know what based on. It's not nice. It's not nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, my problem with it, Adam, was that ultimately, if people want to boo Paul Pogba, that's up to them. I'm not in the Pogba FC. I think he's a good player, but he's been here 6 years. I think we should have to be honest, I don't really care about him running his contract down, because I blame the club. I don't blame him. He tried to go 2 years ago and they said no. Well, and to be fair, him and his agent have kept their gob shut for a year. They've not been anywhere near as bad as they were maybe 2 years ago. But so look, if people want to boo him, that's absolutely fine. My issue with it was that, Maguire was crap. Gets booed for England, comes back to United, and we give him a testimonial. Everyone was bloody cheering him. And then Pogba gets subbed off in a game at 2-2, and we're booing him when we win a game. I just think I'm with Kev. Look, as much as I can go on a rant and call everybody anything on a rant, I'm ultimately not in the ground. I think it's very different to stand up and boo a player. Not sure I've definitely never done it, and I'm not sure I'd be comfortable doing it in the ground. But each to their own. You were there yesterday. What was it? What was it generally like in the ground? I mean, obviously there was a few things going on before, and then obviously the result itself was a positive result. We're going to talk about top 4 race in a minute.
It was a weird day yesterday. Everywhere, before, in, after. I mean, I turned up there. I think I was there around about an hour and a half before the game. It was packed. It was absolutely heaving. I don't know what it was or what incentive the club had done, but there was a clear sort of message from the club. Let's try and deflect away from what's coming, which was obviously the protests, and they knew what time that was coming. They put a massive giant Cadbury's Easter egg that people were queuing up for miles to get a picture with. I could not believe it. You've got the Tin Pot trophy picture thing, which people queue up for and pay for. To have pictures taken with the treble trophies. It's embarrassing. It's like, how long ago was that? Like, settle down. Like, let's get down to the real side of things. And then you go inside, you're expecting sort of the 17-minute sort of walk in, walk out, however you want to talk about. No one comes in until 70 minutes. It was pretty much packed from the first kickoff. It was like a carnival sort of atmosphere feel about it. Obviously, protesters stopped a few of the execs getting into their seats because they blocked the Munich tunnel. So a few didn't get in there because of that. But then you got inside, and obviously you got the singing section there, singing Glazers out and everything. They're the ones who started the "You're not fit to wear the shirt" chant. And I think that corner of the ground, I mean, I've not seen the videos because obviously it was there, but I'm guessing the cameras pick up as Pogba was walking off there. That's where all sort of singing section is. That's how they like it to look on camera. That part of the ground where the cameras are, where the players walk off, looks like it's all brilliant. The other 3 sides of the stadium are they're at the wit's end. It really is. I've seen people fighting in the stands at different stages this season because they're not agreeing, because they're talking about players. I've seen people escorted out. The boos, the walkouts. This season has been horrific. It's the worst I've witnessed in terms of the fan discontent. And it was the same yesterday. I mean, yeah, everyone was happy. Goals, Ronaldo, hat-trick. And it really did just take that edge off. The fact that he put that free kick in saved a lot of aggro with that fan base yesterday. It really did. It just quilled it. It just cut it off a little bit because it's Ronaldo, the hero, another hat-trick, and it's a free kick. Brilliant stuff. But 5 minutes before, they were booing very, very powerfully. It was almost as powerful as cheering Harry Maguire off. But the boos for Pogba aren't football-related. The boos for Pogba are because the fan base is fed up of him and what's going on, like Beth and Kev have said. That's what them boos are for. And it's like it came at the exact right time. Whoever was being subbed off that pitch might have got booed at that stage because they were all shocking. But when Pogba's number came up, you just knew what was coming. You knew straight away. The ideal man for a lot of the hate in that fan base and in them stands was walking off that pitch. And he got it. He got it full pelt. I mean, I don't boo. I've never booed in my life. I saved my judgment, obviously, after the game like we do. When you're there, when you're at the pitch side, you get behind the players and you cheer them on for as long as you can. And then we dissect it afterwards. But it's just changed now, Old Trafford. It's not a nice place. It's not a nice atmosphere. You can tell the atmosphere inside that changing room is as bad as it is in the stands. Because you can see the discontent in the players. You can just see there's nothing there. Yesterday, that was probably the loudest booing we've heard for one particular player. I mean, I've heard them booed off at half-time, full-time about 8 or 10 times this season at Old Trafford alone. I've heard it in the away fans. And then like last week, when I put that video out of the players walking off the pitch with their heads down past the away fans at Everton, that's the worst I've seen. And like what Ollie got at Watford, I've been there this season for that. It is the worst atmosphere, the most poisonous atmosphere I've felt within a United fan base ever this season. They've just had enough of everything. And there is a large part of that down to the way that the football club is being run. The fans come in all the same. The boy, they're ready to give everything for the team and get behind it. And then this season, it just looks like the players have given up as well. And it's just added to the whole atmosphere being toxic because they've got nothing off the pitch. Doesn't look like we've got a future with the Glazers. The players can't be bothered. We've seen the contract extensions and what the players are doing on social media and everything like that. And it's all just come to a big end right now. I'm not surprised it is the way it is, because the only way any of this goes away is if that football on the pitch gets any better. And trust me, everything will die off if United start winning. You just know what's coming.
It's the fact, Adam, that a lot of people will say it looks like Manchester United have down tools. And as a supporter, you cannot forgive that. I think yesterday was that kind of acceptance. It's like, I don't agree with it, but we know that these players are leaving Manchester United. We've had players that have left Manchester United in the past that have still, even Ronaldo, let's say, what was that, 2009, left Manchester United, give his all that season. We won the Premier League. We were beaten in the Champions League in Rome against one of the best teams I've ever seen in Barcelona. But Ronaldo still give everything for Manchester United, even though we knew he was leaving. You know, the Manchester United fans wouldn't have booed Ronaldo. And there was an acceptance at that time. I was like, absolutely devastated he was leaving. But that was always his thing to go on to Real Madrid. You've got the likes of Pogba now and players where you look at that there is a disconnect. And as you rightly say, I think yesterday it just boiled over. I don't agree with it. You're not fit to wear the shirt and all that. Fair enough. If fans watched out that, you've paid good money to be at the ground and that, you can voice your opinion. But for me, I don't know. It doesn't really sit right, does it? But at the same time, we know Paul Pogba will not be at Manchester United next season. But at the same time, what's the manager picking him for? What's he picking Jesse Lingard for? I was surprised to see him in the starting lineup. I'm like, why are we going down that road? He's not going to be at Manchester United next season, you know.
Well, that's what I talk about, actually. Well, let's bring it back to the result yesterday. Was a massive 3 points. I was very relieved on the watch along. I don't know why everyone else felt, because I was like, people started talking about top four, and I was like, I can't see where we're getting 3 more points. I think you'd said it, Adam. You know, that's 3 points. We've got to get in Europa League. We've got to be in the Europa League. It's a chance of getting in the Champions League. So I was very happy that we won. Obviously, Arsenal have lost 3 in a row. Spurs lost to Brighton. We are apparently back in a top 4 race, which I find hilarious because, you know, Arsenal and Spurs must be really shit. If we finish above them, we just don't deserve it. I think these players just don't deserve it. Anyway, we've got Liverpool, we've got Arsenal, and we've got Chelsea in the next 3 days. Come back to you on it, Kev, because you sort of started it off anyway. You said Lingard and Pogba. He picked them yesterday. He didn't pick a midfielder. Put Matic on the bench. Rangnick probably got away with the most yesterday. Pogba got booed. Ronaldo scored a hat-trick. De Gea made some saves. People are going, why is Maguire not getting booed? And Rangnick sort of like slips out the back, 3 points, yes. Because I love Ralph, but his team selection yesterday, there was times in the second half when Norwich were just running through that midfield like it wasn't there. The defence all looked pissed. And I was like, oh my God, they're going to beat us about 4 or 5-2. And I'm like,
and you know what it is, Mark? You know what it is? Our midfield is that absolute dreadful, right? That he thought we can get away with it today against a Norwich team that are bottom of the league. He's got one eye on a game against Liverpool. Yeah. And our best midfielder is Nemanja Matic in that position. So he's looked, he had to call on him yesterday, but we all know deep down he can't play 90 minutes at Manchester United. And that is how poor we are. I love Nemanja Matic, but, you know, he's got one eye on a massive game against Liverpool where I think we even said yesterday, Beth, after in the fan forum, we're kind of like trying to work out what kind of a team you would start against Liverpool. And I'm like, I'm glad I'm not the manager of United because I don't know where to start. I even said, can you play Dean Henderson and David De Gea in net? You know, can we go down that route? It's like, are we going to play a flat back 10? It's like damage limitation, but you know for a fact Nemanja Matic didn't start that game yesterday because he is in the starting 11 at Anfield on Tuesday night. Make no bones about that. And that tells you everything with no disrespect meant to Nemanja Matic. It just tells you where we're at. Do you know what I mean? When you've got the likes of Fred and McTominay to pick from, it's the golfing class at Manchester United in that midfield area, when we come up against anyone, it's just huge. We get outplayed by the likes of Wolves, Everton, Aston Villa. It doesn't matter who it is. They've got decent midfielders that can play as a team, and we don't. We're just literally every week just pissing about, as I always say, with the same old crap that we watch every week. And then we're sat on the United stand there moaning about it. And it's like, till you change that area of the field, it will make a massive impact at Manchester United.
What do you think about that, Beth? We are, 3 points off fourth now, and people are starting to get excited again. But we have got 3 games against Liverpool, Arsenal and Chelsea in the next 10 days. How do you have confidence that we can get results in any of those games?
Absolutely zero confidence whatsoever, and I'm usually the positive one. And Kev, if we rewind back to yesterday, you said that you think we're going to get top 4 now, so don't even know.
I'd had a couple of red wines, Beth. All right, I was getting a bit giddy.
No, but honestly, I was looking at the fixtures last night, and when you sat there,
Damn bank holidays.
Is it possible? Is it possible that we're going to do it? But I mean, I've just looked at the fixtures again, and it's like, I generally can't guarantee you any 3 points. And that's exactly what Kev said yesterday. We didn't play much to try and get away with it. If Ronaldo hadn't scored that free kick, that's 3 points dropped at Norwich, I generally believe. And also, you're dropping 3 points on Tuesday. So it would have been better just to sacrifice Liverpool game and played a decent midfield in that Norwich game to secure the 3 points. Because I mean, if it's anyone from that Liverpool team on the end of some of the chances Norwich had yesterday, I mean, you're out of the game. We were lucky that they couldn't put away some of the chances, and we were lucky that it wasn't as bad as what it could have been, and that Ronaldo was there to save us, to be honest with you. But I mean, I look at Liverpool and I watched them play against City, and I think I don't know how you'd approach the game. I was thinking, would you go with a back 5? We've not done it all season. I wouldn't probably go with that. You're going to probably see the likes of Wan-Bissaka come back into the team, possibly to give slight defensive edge. But then when he played in the derby, I thought he was terrible against Phil Foden. I thought Phil Foden massively got the better out of him. And then you look at the midfield, Tommy and Fred still injured. You've got to play
I'd play Phil Jones, I would, in the midfield.
Seriously?
Pep's laughing. I knew I was watching who's going to laugh. I seriously would put Phil Jones in the midfield.
I mean, you might see him
run around a bit. He'll run around a bit. I mean, that's what McTominay does. He'll run around a bit. He'll put a tackle in, and fucking what I can't be doing.
Man, I'm not having that.
You can't play Pogba and Bruno. Fucking hell. Pogba's as we all know, Pogba's got his head on elsewhere, and Bruno, he's just going to fucking get the ball and pass it straight to the Liverpool team because he doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, I wouldn't even play Ronaldo. What's the point in playing Ronaldo? You've got to hit him on the break. That's
what he does. I remember earlier in the season, Matt, we were discussing, I think that was the one game that we actually dropped Ronaldo out the starting 11 because we just said, I think it was the derby, and everyone was like, why are you so anti-Ronaldo? And it's like, not anti-Ronaldo, he's our best player. But the problem is, on Tuesday, he's not going to get a sniff. He's literally generally not going to get a chance because you're going to see the fullbacks behind the halfway line consistently. We barely get
on the halfway line as well, so pacing behind, he hasn't got it.
Barely get crosses in anyway. I generally think if we have any chance, which I still think Liverpool are going to swarm us and score goals. Like I'm going 3 or 4-0, possibly even more. Like it sounds bad, but the performances have just been horrendous. And the only chance we've got generally is if we line up the way that we did against Chelsea when we managed to get a 1-1 draw and Michael Carrick was in charge. Because what we did is we completely deaded the game off. I think we had Matic, McTominay and Donny van der Beek in the midfield. And we managed to get that chance through Sancho that he managed to score. And it was a fluke chance, but that's the only times you're ever going to get a result now. And that's how far we've fallen off. We've fallen off that bad is that we've got to rely on a fluke counter-attack to have any chance. But Liverpool's attack is way too confident, too overpowering for us to defend against. I mean, look at the way Maguire, Lindelof and Tellers were going yesterday. And that was against Norwich, for God's sake. There was gaps everywhere. You looked at the positioning of him. It was like, they were literally all over the pitch. Liverpool can have a field day with us on Tuesday. Then you look to Arsenal. If I had to put money on it, I'd say Arsenal beat us, unfortunately. And then we've got Brighton, we've got Chelsea. Chelsea playing today again against Crystal Palace. I think Crystal Palace are a very decent team. Chelsea were just too much for them. I think Yeah, I think it's going to be Europa League.
Loving the positivity, Beth. This is really cheering me
Yeah,
up. This.
honestly, you look at the games other people have. It's nice to have a bit of hope. But I think this season, Europa League is what we deserve, if that. And even if we get in the Champions League next season, we're not going to be able to compete straight away. It's just facts.
If
Adam, just before you have your bit, I was going to ask you this. Liverpool can still win a quadruple. They can definitely still win a treble. If we stop them winning on Tuesday, they won't win the league. And we are sat here clueless, the lot of us, as to how we stop ourselves getting absolutely pummeled. I can't think of a United side going to Anfield with as little hope as this team's got. I mean, that is how low this is. We've got no hope. We're talking about 3-0 loss would be a good result. I mean, I never like Anfield. I'm always nervous for it. But, like, is there any way we can get anything out of this game? And why not? I always think when, like, teams are going to win a treble or something like that, you've got to do it. It's our record. This is our record. We've got an opportunity. If they don't beat us on Tuesday, they won't win the treble. And yet, I don't feel that any United player really gets that. I don't think, and this is one of the big problems for fans. We're like, we don't want them to win the treble. I don't think there's many United players. In fact, I would argue, I don't think there's any United player that's really thinking about the treble. No, I don't think even Ronaldo would register about that.
No, they don't. It's like when speaking to people yesterday, I was asking, and it was sort of like a bit of tongue in cheek. Is it like top four back on now, back in it? Arsenal lose, Spurs lose. And literally every single one who spoke to me just laughed in my face. Like they know what they're watching, mate. And that's exactly why. They know, like, that's like what, our third win in about 10. It was Norwich at home, and we pretty much deserved to lose it, to be honest, off actual chances created. Norwich were the better team. And then you got to take that into Anfield. Like you said, Mark, I was nervous when we had some of the best teams that we've had going to Anfield. And now going with this lot, no, mate, they won't be thinking about the treble. They won't be thinking about what they can do to stop it. All they'll be thinking about is what's going to happen to them later on social media, or who's going to get booed this week, or what abuse they're going to get. I know that Anfield crowd will be right up for it. And I mean, when was the last time we played Liverpool with fans in the stadium?
They're going to love it. They'll love to beat us 7 or 8-0. They'd love it.
They will rinse us. And if Liverpool get a sniff of negativity from this Manchester United team, you can expect that team to then go for a record. I win. I mean, if they get any sort of like they did at Old Trafford, they get any sort of like hint of negativity or unrest, they will go for our throats and they will destroy us. And those United fans will be stood there taking all the flack again, will be kept in behind, having to walk out onto the dark streets of Liverpool after the game, depressed at what this team is. They probably keep us all in because they want the coach to leave so they don't get abuse walking out the stadium, the United players. That's what they'll do. But I can see Liverpool absolutely destroying Manchester United. And the only way we take anything out of the game is a tiny little bit of tactics. Maybe don't play into their hands. And you'll need every single one of them players to up their game by about 10. And you may be able to compete. Not win, compete. Because this comes naturally to these Liverpool players. This comes naturally to them. They want to win. They want to destroy. And they will see, if they see, they've seen a weakness in United already, but if they get any sort of, like I said, a hint of negativity or things not right, they will just go for our throats and they will humiliate us. And you know what? That'll probably give them the perfect tonic going into that running that they've got. Take United down, make a big statement. And you know what? You could see any sort of scoreline. These United players have to step up. But has any United fan seriously got any hope of these players giving any extra than what they have done all season? We've seen so much, like we've just discussed, that's why we're this low. That's why we're not confident enough. It's not like we're going in, we want to lose, or we think we're just going to lose it. We've just seen so much. There's just nothing in this team that gives you any confidence at all to think that they're going to do anything against Liverpool. And as soon as that first goal goes in, we know it's game over. That's it. Maguire scoring kick. God.
That's the thing. It's actually laughable to even think about Maguire scoring a goal on Tuesday, and it's like you've got Kanate scoring 3 in his last 3 appearances. Like it's just the way it is. But do you know what, Adam? That's the only way that these players can get any fans back on side now. You go and pull out a slight result out against Liverpool, and you put on a performance, you put the effort in that we've not seen all season, you get some fans back on side, and plus you're getting beat 5-0 at home. Are you not embarrassed? Like, come on now. You've got to try and defend your pride a little bit, surely.
You can accept getting beat. You can accept to a certain degree getting beat. It's just the manner in which you lose a game. I am totally accepting of on Tuesday night that man for man, no Manchester United player even walks into that Liverpool team. Like I said to you, Beth, if we're doing a combined team, no United players getting in that team. It is literally Liverpool. But if you can go out there and put in a performance, even if we get beat, but you've seen something where you can go sound, not that piss poor performance at Old Trafford, where we literally just threw the towel in and it was damage limitations and we come away from it. That was embarrassing. I can't go through that again. As long as we can kind of compete, but I know where we're at, and we're not as good as Liverpool, man for man. It's a monumental task to even consider taking 3 points. The fact that we're even here saying that before the game even kicks off, a point would be a good result. It's unheard of, isn't it? It's a difficult place to go to, Anfield, don't get me wrong, but we're all here going, point to be a good result, at this time now, but...
Well,
it's a mentality thing, isn't it? Because I think with these players, that they just don't have the mentality, because I think the way we all see United as fans is that we've been humiliated 5-0 under a previous manager, but we all played in that game. They're going for a title, whereas if we stop them winning, we'll stop them winning the league. I mean, these things are big. We've done it to Liverpool in the past, in the 80s. They've done it to us in the noughties and 90s. You can screw up your biggest rival season. And I just don't feel that there's any United player that actually even has that mentality that, look, and also the big thing, like what Kev said there, is if they did get a draw, I think the fan base would go, that's a bloody good result. They actually are capable of something, but I just don't think they have the mindset of that. I think these players are long gone, to be honest.
To even have a chance, you'd have to have ridiculous discipline, and the players haven't shown discipline all season. Honestly, I really don't want to be negative, but I go as far as to say, like, first half, even if a Liverpool player got sent off, I still think they beat us in where we're at right now.
This is it. As a United player right now, I'd be looking at it going, they know they're not, they look stupid, but they're not stupid. I'd look at it and go, okay, the highest paid squad or top 3 in European football is about to, if they don't pull the finger out, is about to finish the worst Premier League season in Manchester United's history. Is that not motivation enough to be not part of that? We need 3 wins and a draw out of the last 6. We just said we're not going to win any of the next 3. The teams that are beating the teams around us are then in line after them 3 games in Palace and Brighton, as well as a Brentford team that's not dropped, I think they dropped 3 points out of the last 4 games as well, who are also in form. So is there not enough incentive in this playing staff to actually go, oh, we are actually the highest paid players in this league, and we are about to finish this season United's worst in Premier League history.
But that's why the fans, when they sing "You're not fit to wear the shirt," it's not a prediction; it's a fact. Like, you're absolutely spot on. We've got 10 of the top 30 best paid players in the Premier League. We've got 4 of the top 5. We've got the most expensive squad in the league, the best paid squad in the league, and they're about to get the lowest points tally in our history. Yeah. And they're not motivated. I mean, that just sums it all up. They're not bothered. They're not bothered. And look, I don't like doing the History Channel, but there's so many players from the past that would just be losing their shit. Like, this is not happening. I'm not having it on my CV. But bloody, our captain's got more relegations on his bloody CV than he has got trophies, hasn't he? So, I mean, the motivation's probably just not there. But I tell you what, the interesting thing as well is that who's back for Tuesday? Because I'm telling you now, whoever comes back for the game on Tuesday, I'm going to applaud him. Because if I'm Raphael Varane, I ain't coming back. I'd be like, I'll be back for Arsenal. I'll be back for Arsenal. Yeah, I'm just not quite ready. So if anyone does actually come back for that game, they've got my respect.
Yeah. It's like being thrown straight into the bear pit, that, isn't it? It's like, there you go.
I might have been. It's like when Ronaldo missed that game and we lost a few weeks ago. It's like it was a brilliant. He missed the derby, didn't he? Brilliant game to miss. Absolutely brilliant. I know he's pissed off, but you can't be damaged by the performance.
I mean, that said it all. It's like just going off a little bit. It's like Matic. How long he's been at the football club? This is a guy that's won every single major trophy as a player in terms of club level. He's won nothing at United. he's won absolutely nothing at United. It says what's he been here? 5 years? It's just like, wow. We destroy careers, don't we?
Honestly, Adam, how many years has it been since Ronaldo's gone trophyless for a season? It's like it's been a certain amount of years, and he's like, it's the first time in I don't know how many. It's a long time he's not won a trophy. It is the United effect, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, he'll probably get United's player of the season, so it'd be all right.
Well, I was saying, like, genuinely, I think Ronaldo will have his eye on Golden Boot. I know he's 5 goals off, but that is a slight incentive for him. But he just doesn't have the people around him to help him get that. I don't think.
Imagine how many goals he would have scored in that City team. If he's scoring goals in this team, fucking hell, he's a magician.
When Haaland goes there next year, that's a league over straight away. Not to be negative, but...
Anyway, look, it's been a cracking show. We did actually win yesterday. We better bloody enjoy it because I think even these players that won haven't really gone to town on their admin, have they? Because they're like, there's not enough time. What's going to happen on Tuesday? So, yeah, we've got a game on Tuesday and we've got a game on Saturday. We'll see what happens, and then we've got Chelsea after that. But I thought the highlight of the day was the draw with Burnley and West Ham. That was a great 2 points dropped by West Ham. It keeps our Europa League hopes alive. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But look, thanks for coming on, Kev. Hope you've enjoyed it.
I have. Thank you very much. As always, the live comments and all that, I've noticed that Kev's been sat in the sun all day, and I think just for some reason now I've started to turn into some kind of lobster, which everyone's been picking up on. So thank you very much.
I thought it was the red wine.
No, but it might be a mixture of both, to be honest. I need to go and get some after sun on or something, and don't know what's up with me, but hopefully I'll be back
when
for
it's sunny in Manchester. You got to enjoy it.
Oh, exactly, mate. We get about 2 or 3 days a year, so that's one of them down, and we'll get another 2. So just got to make the most of it. But thank you as always. Really enjoyed that. Flew by.
Thanks for coming on, Adam.
Yeah, no problem. Going to enjoy Bank Holiday Monday because Tuesday is going to be hell. So that's my day. Enjoy the rest of the Bank Holiday weekend because it's going to be a very hard week.
Come on, Adam. Yeah. Positivity, lad. Be positive.
Did you just hear, Beth?
I hate Anfield. I remember when we used to have Keane, Scholes and Beckham. I remember living in Ireland and I remember watching one game on a 12:30 game, Sky, probably like early noughties, and I think we won. I fucking hate. I just hate Anfield. I hate the crowd. I hate because they hate us, and it's just a very tense game, and it's going to be a very hard game when we've got absolutely no chance. But we'll see. Beth, thanks very much for coming on.
A pleasure as always. Feeling very positive going into the week ahead, and honestly, it's rare that I say this, but I'm just glad that I'm not actually at the game on Tuesday because it's going to be
cheers,
hard.
Ben. Thanks again.
No, but that 5-0 at the start of the season it's horrible to watch. But hopefully, a miracle can happen. Ralph's all aboard Ralph's bus, as I saw in the comment, and hopefully we can get some sort of result. But I'm not holding my breath. But we'll see.
So you're sitting on the fence, then, Beth?
I mean, I think I've made my opinions pretty clear on that, Kev.
Fair enough.
No splinters tonight.
Yeah,
we'll see. We've always got Arsenal afterwards. This is bonus points, isn't it? But look,
beat by Liverpool, then Arsenal will be the worst week going. So hopefully, at least we can get one of them done.
I just love someone in the dressing room to be saying, "Look, if we stop them winning, they won't win the league." I mean, what more motivation do you need in a United shirt?
Exactly.
That's all. If they don't beat us, they don't win the league. That's all I need. But I don't think we've got a player in a United shirt who gets that, and that's what bothers me. But we'll see. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll speak to you soon. Cracking show, and take care, everyone, and speak to you in a bit.